All right. Thank you, everybody. So we're going to walk through a short consortium update, giving you an idea of what we have done as far as the more business side of things. And then from there, we're going to move into the technology update where all of the exciting things are happening. So we're just going to take a short step back and talk about effectively what we feel our mission is here within the consortium, and then we'll go on to the kind of year we had and whatnot. Right at the top, at least personally for me, I find continuous improvement to be the key thing that we're here to do. We're here to improve not only the source code, to give you a better product to work with and to underpin all of the things that we've just heard about here at the University of Utrecht, but also the process is operating as a community ourselves. So how do we get together? How can we harvest the ideas and all of the great things that have been happening within the community itself, and then pull those back into the consortium and provide a means by which to then communicate them back out as far as best practices are concerned, any new discoveries that are made as far as technology are concerned, bringing new ideas to the table, and so on. So in order to support that, another point of our mission is to grow the community. So, travel around the conferences, meet people, trick them into using iRODS, and then trick them into joining the community. So we have more ideas and, more contributions. And to that point, another key factor I think that we have that we need to spend more time on is standardization. So I think that we've made more strides to that during this year. But we need to focus more not only on the technology and the technological improvements, but on the standards across the community. As an open source product, this is really difficult because we're basically building consensus, across institutions that, may be oceans apart. And so that requires a lot more in the way of communicating and open channels among everybody here. And that's why, I personally at least appreciate that everyone is here to show us what you have been doing so we can take these contributions back and then reflect them back onto the community for someone who may not have discovered them. And ultimately, we're here to show value to our membership as well. Introducing the members to each other, and I appreciate like Sanger and a number of other participants in the community that are willing to take meetings just to tell others about their story, how they use iRODS, how it's valuable to them, and how it's allowed them to grow their community as well as achieve all of their scientific goals. So in the past year, we appreciate we've had 14 new membership renewals and 9 new members, so we're absolutely delighted to have them help support this open source community. We are still hosting hardware within our own data center, and so if anybody needs to do any conformance testing with their hardware, we're happy to help them with that. I honestly tried to look up the number of proof of concepts we've done this year, and I couldn't really find a number. But that demonstrates that we've been very busy. We're still providing user training, and we very much appreciate that Tom and the rest of the team here are also providing training here within the Netherlands, because there's only so many people that work for the consortium here. And we've attended 13 different, or more different conferences and events. And so if you as a consortium member or even member of any of the institutes who you want to meet or anywhere around the world where we have these conferences, we're happy to meet up with you and help you also grow the community. So we would like to welcome our 9 new members this year, all the way from Agriculture Victoria in Australia, active in Poland to Bristol Myers Squibb. Claudian has joined the consortium and is helping to sponsor this event, so thanks to them, as well as Guardant Health, Maastricht, and SUSE, who is also a consortium sponsor. TAC, that was very exciting for us, so that gives us a very direct connection with the HPC market, as well as CU Boulder. So other activity, talking about that standardization, we have been spinning up these working groups, and we appreciate everybody's participation. We had one wrapped around Metalinks, which is the GUI that has been contributed by EMC, and so we welcome that source code into the consortium. We had a working group spun up around that, and that has basically driven right into what we're calling the metadata templates working group. So during that working group, we're talking about how we may take the ability to formalize how metadata may be presented through any interface within iRODS to the user in a way that can inform them as to what the metadata may be appropriate for that particular collection or data object. And once again, this is going to require a standardization of how that format is put together, what the schemas might look like, and so on. And so we appreciate everyone's input there. We are also, as a consortium, working towards integrating more directly with file systems, and so we have or have spun up a file systems working group, and that would include Lustre, where we have built a connector to that, but also GPFS, and we just had a conversation with BGFS at the International Supercomputing Conference, so we'll be working with them as well. And that drives directly into HPC, so that gives us the ability to catch the event stream coming out of the file systems and inform the catalog as to those changes. And so that's once again where we have to come up with a standardization as we start plumbing into these new event streams so we can update the catalog. I would also like to thank the 10 or more external code contributors, most of which I imagine are here, and for all of your efforts that you have contributed to the consortium, as well as pushing all of these different interfaces forward based on iRODS as a technology. And we've actually had some more participation on the social media with iRODS chat and Twitter as well, so that's always very encouraging. So once again, here's our membership. We are missing quite a few logos, so we're going to have to make them quite a bit smaller in the future, which excites me quite a bit. But this is always a very satisfying slide to put up on the projection screen. So those of you who may not know how we do what we do, this is the only business slide in the whole user group, so I promise this will be quick. Ultimately, as a consortium, we tend to start with a proof of concept, so this could be users who show up who know quite a bit and have their own hands-on ideas about how they're going to go about it. They are ultimately always use case driven. We usually try to get our new users to start small and then grow. Sometimes that doesn't work, and so things get a little bit more complicated, but ultimately we also offer service and support contracts. So if anyone has a large amount of infrastructure that need help getting stood up, we're happy to do that. But once we've gotten through that particular process, it is my job to then pester you to join the consortium at one of the 4 levels. And you can get anywhere between 10 and 100 hours of support. You get to participate in the consortium roadmap, so you get a seat directly at the table. You also get plumbed directly into the development team who's sitting up here in the corner, so get a good look at them. And a discounted hourly rate on all of those support hours. A new thing that we're doing is offering Tier 3 support through our membership. And so as a member, if you would like to provide Tier 1 and Tier 2 support, we're welcome to do that, and then we're happy to back you up with Tier 3 support. And that's it. That's the whole pitch. So ultimately, why I'm here is to get the questions. What is it that you need to feed back to the consortium so we can go all the way back to that first slide and talk about continuous improvement. So we can't improve until we have a feedback loop from the community itself, and that's ultimately why we're here. So any questions? Otherwise, all right. So we will move on to the technology update if there's no further questions.
I really want to use this box.
You can use it.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you.